Good evening, this is Tim Johnson, and the Brattleboro Selectboard is coming up next this February the 1st. Just to let you know, in case you haven't heard, schools in Brattleboro canceled for Groundhog Day, that according to WTSA.net. As for the board meeting, they began with a 5 o'clock work session on the Utilities Division budget. Tonight, during the regular meeting, the board as liquor commissioners will set a work session on liquor and tobacco licenses, hear word about the FY10 audit, discuss a new 5-year contract with Brattleboro Area Hospice for space in the Brattleboro Transportation Center, discuss grant applications for the purpose of building the new West River Park with Brattleboro Recreation and Parks Director Carol O'Lott, approving a resolution for a grant application for a planning grant involving Hilltop House, and Brattleboro Public Works Director Steve Barrett will present the annual State of Vermont Certificate of Highway Mileage. All that and more coming up. The Brattleboro Select Board is next here on BCTV.
Wow, Maria,
Good
you look
evening.
different.
And welcome to our February 1st meeting, first official meeting of February. And has the meeting been officially warned?
Yes.
Thank you. I would accept the motion for the minutes from our meeting on January 20th.
So moved? Move
Any-
approval?
Any corrections, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair's remarks. Before I say anything, I'm going to have Steve Barrett, our Public Works Director, stand up and say a few things. Today was just the warm-up of the JV game for tomorrow's big storm. And so, Steve, if you could...
Yeah, we're joking today. We said the rehearsal's over, so it's a real thing. Just a little update for the board and the public. Today was a smaller storm, and we are anticipating a pretty large storm event tomorrow, large accumulations. So what does that mean? That means, first of all, our crews will probably be going home early evening, or some of them could have already gone home right now. And the Utilities Division will back up the Highway Division and be on call throughout the night. Dispatch and the police department will be advised that, you know, we have a skeleton crew. If there's a problem, we'll be dispatched out. Otherwise, you know, it is winter. The roads are snow covered. People can get around at a pretty slow pace, but they can get around. At 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, our Highway Division will all report to work early, and they'll stay with the storm until it's done. Some of the things that we're concerned about is because of the large amount of snow that we've already had this year and the anticipated large amounts that the snowbanks will be high, and there'll be limited room on some of these side streets. And that's a problem not only for the plow drivers if cars are parked on the street, but it's also difficult for emergency services and fire trucks. Another thing is the snowbanks are quite high, so it's very difficult for people to get out of their driveways or the side streets. I have noticed that a lot of people are anticipating that and actually using some kindness and letting people out. So I think you need to be aware that there are people that are pulling out of these areas, and with a small car you just can't see. Other than that, we'll stay with the storm until it's been completed, and then we do anticipate picking up snow at some point when we can. The crews will need rest, and the storms have tended to come on Wednesdays, has been the lucky day.
Unbelievable.
So we tried to let people rest up over the weekend and then come back on a Tuesday, and that hasn't worked so far. We have picked up snow several times this year, and we anticipate doing that again. And we're not sure how that will go because we have to play out the storm and then get a feel on how the personnel is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And The crew, again, doing an outstanding job. A couple of things that I wanted to touch about on the storm and shoveling, making sure that your vents are clear, carbon monoxide buildup. We certainly want to be clear there. Check on your neighbors. You know, driving around, you see the tremendous amount of snow on roofs already, and we're looking at anywhere from 12 to 20 inches of snow. Some of that will be heavy. I caution people getting up on roofs. You know, if you're unsure yourself, call a professional to have someone clear your roof for you if you need help and assistance there. If you need assistance at home, I would have you call the non-emergency number at the fire department, so that if we need to get aid to you, call that number. Steve did touch upon your travels around the community. Speed is a critical factor. So let's all slow down and certainly be courteous. There's a lot of blind spots out there, and very dangerous, actually. And it's going to be like that for you know, a couple of weeks once we get through this storm, and then we start our snow removal. There are side streets that there's quite a bit of buildup. So again, courtesy. Let's help people out as we do in our community. And that's about all I have. Darrell, I think you wanted to say something?
This is going to be my last month on the board, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody. It's been 14 years of serving the town of Brattleboro. I have enjoyed it, and I got to tell you folks, you've been very good to me, and I really appreciate that. It's meant a lot to me and my family, and I hope the new board members well, and I would hope that the public, this is an opportunity to change 3 people on the board. We have 8 people running. Please pay attention to what's going on. You definitely have a good crew of people that are running. Give them, you know, the time of day, and make your decisions and come out and vote, folks. And thank you very much for having the trust and voting me in for 14 years. It's been a heck of a ride, and I have truly enjoyed it. So thank you.
You want to come in the next meeting, Drew?
Maybe not. You take a very good hint.
I actually would like to thank the people that took out petitions. There was only, well, there's vacancies in the districts. There's some openings, but there was a vacancy in the BUHS board, so no one took out. There was one petition taken out. There was one vacancy that a petition wasn't taken out, so maybe someone should consider doing a write-in campaign there. And again, thank all the candidates for that. Also, a reminder on Saturday, hopefully we will finish up our town meeting on Saturday. We adjourned until February 5th up at Academy School. Still 15 or 16 articles left to go. So hopefully we can get that completed on Saturday. And that's it. Barb, do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Public participation, our select board committee reports. I don't think we have any of those. No?
Yes, we do.
You do?
The,
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, the quarterly meetings of the 4 or 5 bars with Martha, myself, Barb Suntag, and Chief of Police, Gene Wren. We had a meeting earlier this week or last week. And those have been going well. We've got one more, we'll probably have one more meeting between now and the licenses being issued at the end of April. That meeting hasn't been set. And there was one bar that was not represented there. We haven't I'll just bring that to the board's attention that perhaps at some point we need to deal with that issue. But otherwise, everybody was there and we had a good meeting.
Public participation. Here's an opportunity for you to speak on something that is not on our agenda here this evening, and that's certainly very brief. If you would come up to the microphone, state your name, the town that you're from, and we'll give you about 2 minutes.
Thanks. Hi. My name is Wendy Mason from Brattleboro. I actually live on High Street in the Manley Apartments, and I've been talking to some other residents that live on that street and park in the parking lot next to the building about inconsistencies with the amber lights and the purple lights for snow removal, which obviously is something we're seeing and is necessary, obviously, tonight. The very first time that it snowed very badly, very heavily, a few weeks ago, there were no amber lights flashing, so some of us chose to continue to park in the lot that night. Some chose to move it. Nothing was removed. No plowing was done until later in that morning, 9 a.m. or so. January 21st, we had the amber lights flashing for apparently no reason, it seemed. There was no snow left to clear, so some people again decided to move their cars, some did not. Nothing was towed. The very next day, January 22nd, the lights were again flashing, and this time people who chose to stay in, even though there was no snow to remove, were towed. And that, for people like me, is very difficult to come up with $100 or $140 to get your car back from being towed, plus a $20 ticket from the town. I'm looking for some answers, and so are some of the other people that were in my building and were towed and were very upset that day on the 22nd. And we're just looking to find out what we can do about these tickets.
Which lot was that?
The lot next to the Manley Apartments on High Street. Is that the High Street lot? I don't know what it's called.
High Grove
High
lot?
Grove.
Steve, do you know?
The procedure that we follow for snow removal is we contact Central Dispatch and direct the lights to go on for the parking lots. All the parking lots are actually maintained, or actually we contract out the plowing and the snow removal. So generally when we have a storm, we ask to put the lights on, and sometimes different parking lots haven't picked up. For instance, Harmony Lot or some of the other, or Harris Lot hasn't been picked up, and the lights will be on, and other times we're just not sure when every parking lot. I think the nutshell here is, I don't think, were you parked in the parking lot all night? And I think that's the problem, is that the ordinances, I believe, the only place you're really supposed to park all night is in the transportation center, and the overflow parking lot is the Preston lot. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think what's happened is when there isn't storms, and maybe this is an education thing that we need to help with, that when there's not storms, I think that the PD doesn't bother to ticket people. Most times they probably just let that go. So maybe we need to do something to assist people to let them know that they can't park there all night. I think that's probably the problem, is you were able to park there and you didn't get a ticket, and then all of a sudden you're there one night and the lights are on and snow probably didn't need to get picked up.
And there was no snow removal to be
Right,
had.
there's no snow removal. Generally what happens is we ask the contractors to plow the parking lots during the day best they can, and at nighttime they go in and they clean and they scrape and do other maintenance at night when there's no cars there. And eventually they pick up the snow that, they're in the very side of the parking lot, they'll pick that snow up. So
So we didn't have a storm, the lights were on, and then you ended up getting towed?
Yes.
And so we
Yes,
need to
and that's-
definitely need to get an answer as to why that
Absolutely,
happened.
because
I
I've
can
lived in that
understand-
building for, I've lived in that building for 4 years, and I've always been very good about sticking to watching for those lights.
Right.
So when I don't see that they're there, I think, okay, I can park there. When I do see that it's on, I think, okay, there's a storm, well, I know there's snow coming, there's snow to be removed, but when the lights are on, this time, there was no snow to remove, and it was very confusing to the residents in that building, which is why a number of us were towed. We talked with the guy at who towed us, and he said that there were a number of us who had come in that day to get our cars back, and they all said the same thing. And I just think that that's
But the
not
lights
been...
were on when you got towed?
Right, the lights were on, but there was no snow to clear, as was the case with the day before, and there was nobody towed. It was just a very confusing, and now, you know, we're left with $120, $140 to pay.
So someone would have had to authorize a towing. Someone would have had to have called a towing department to say, come down and clear these cars.
Right.
Right, because the lights were on.
If the-
If the lights are on.
Right, but if there's no snow and the lights were on, my feeling is that you would have gotten a ticket for overnight parking. If you're on the street anywhere and you park on the street, they don't tow you, they give you a $20 ticket. Now, if there's a snowstorm and you're parked on a street and they want to tow you, they can tow you.
Right, but if you're in a lot and there's no snow to be removed, why would
Right,
why should we think we need to move our cars
I
to?
mean-
Except that, and I understand that, except all I'm going to say is that the decision was made, and it's a decision, when those lights go on, it's a decision made, it's essentially kind of three departments are involved in that. It's Public Works, the Police Department, and the Parking Enforcement are all involved in those. And if the lights are on, I don't know why they would have been on, but obviously there was a decision at that time to have the lights on for some reason. That is what I can find out for you. I'm not sure why that, you know, maybe it wasn't obvious to people, but there obviously had to have been a reason that they said, turn the lights on, and they notified the dispatch who turns them on, and dispatch notified the police officers. So if I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask Jan just to get your name and the dates and things with that, because so we can find out maybe what else they may have been doing. Steve?
The other thing that may have happened is we were picking up snow on the main street and Canal Street at the time, not parking lots. And when the lights were activated, they activated both colors,
Right.
which would have been a mistake if they weren't picking up.
Right.
If
but
they weren't
someone-
picking up parking lots and we were picking up just the main roads, then, you know, and I forget, help me with the colors, purple's the street and the yellow's for the parking lot.
Then we
So
go
on that
on in.
particular,
score up there.
yeah,
Then we go
there's
down
there's
to the
big
train.
signs there that explain that.
Yeah,
But I think we might have picked up snow at night on some of those dates. We can verify it because we'll have those dates. And so inadvertently, what happened was that both lights were turned on.
and somebody would have had to have called.
Somebody had to call or somebody had to
Call,
check. Yeah.
So we need to find,
Well,
it's
if the
definitely-
police see the lights on, the police will do
They're
towing.
doing their
because
job.
the police will assume
right,
that
but
the lights are on.
police, one of their protocols, and it's a nice protocol to have, I'm not sure how consistent it is, but I do know that they try to contact people who are parked on the street by checking the VIN number and then making a phone call to try to say, you need to get your vehicle off the street or it's going to be towed. And so I would want to find out what happened here if we didn't, you know, I know that does happen, whether that's the protocol with every situation, I don't know that, but we'll look more into it and find out what happened.
Could I clarify something, Dick?
Yeah.
There is no parking allowed in that parking lot at night, is that correct?
When the lights are.
No. When there are no lights, we can park there overnight.
But when the light is on, you can't.
The yellow light, right.
Okay, so
Which is meaning that there's going to be there will be snow removal. However, there was no snow to remove,
Well,
which is why the first day, I think it was the 21st, people moved their cars, and some did not and were not towed. So the very next night, when again there was no snow to remove and there were yellow lights on, we thought, is this another mistake? Nobody was towed yesterday, so some people chose to stay and some people moved.
did at any time, or have you checked with the police or the parking division up to now?
I've left a message, I just haven't heard back
Pardon?
yet. I left a message, but I just haven't heard back yet.
Okay, because I think that's the first step, is to check with them and see and talk to Steve. But obviously, if the lights were on, you know, we need to find out.
I'm bringing this before you because it is quite a bit of money to a lot of us who, when we see the inconsistency and we try to follow what the rules are, when we see these inconsistencies and think that there are mistakes being made and then get hit with this sort of fee, it's very difficult for us, and there were some upset people.
Thank
And I
you.
just wanted you to be aware.
Anyone else?
One comment, quickly. And this was on Oak Street. We had, and this is to the public. I came out of here one day, I hit Oak Street, there were signs galore, nice police signs that said, "Do not park here," because I believe we were gonna have some snow removal. I counted 7 cars parked, and they were all parked in front of one of these signs. So sometimes, for the folks out there, please, if the police have "Do not park here" sitting on the snowbanks along the street, please don't park there, because it really upsets the whole functioning of the way Public Works is going to get rid of the snow. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
Not a ticket on the car either. They're all lucky.
And that's it for public participation. right? Okay. I'll accept the motion to go into liquor commissioners.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. And we need to set a work session, and actually I'd like to do that next week, if possible, and combine that with the budget session. 4 o'clock on
Any day you want.
any day.
Except for that one.
Except for that.
If we do it Wednesday, we can cancel it.
Yeah, okay, I'm for that one, Jesse.
We can snow, right?
It snows every Wednesday.
I still think that this should wait, but overruled.
Does Monday or Tuesday work better for people?
You're talking Tuesday the 8th?
Tuesday, the 8th?
That's not good
Is
for
that
me.
enough time for you to get your budget work done? Okay.
What time are you
That's not good.
talking about doing it?
4 to 6. It would be 1 hour for that, and then 1 hour, and a 1 hour, actually,
On
a
what
1
day are we
hour.
talking about?
Tuesday's better.
We're looking at the 8th.
For you?
Oh, shoot, that's my
I appoint.
That's your what?
birthday.
I had to do a meeting on my birthday, too, so welcome to the club.
Didn't I bring you a damn cake?
Yeah, the 8th?
So-
Okay.
Yeah, here.
Well, I just want to say that with as far as the liquor discussion, I just don't know if it makes sense to have this discussion with an outgoing board when we're going to have a new board in a couple of weeks, and if it doesn't make sense to actually have the discussion with the new board, but.
No, my
you know,
feeling would be is that this was a request made by a board member due to weather issues. It was canceled. You know, they're open meetings. Let's hope that all the prospective candidates come to the meeting. So,
Oh, boy.
you know, well, hey, Tuesday, 4 o'clock. 4 to 6. All right, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So, well, before we do that, we should let the people that are going to be in connection with the, are we going to do the liquor first and then
Yeah, we'll
budget?
do the liquor
Okay.
at 4 to 5, and then,
Okay, move we adjourn from liquor commissioners.
so, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Okay. New business.
The board has the FY10 audit, that's for the period ending June 30th, 2010. The independent audit report, and John Meisner and I are here to answer any questions that the board may have. There was an increase in the undesignated fund balance, and as the management discussion analysis describes, there was a decrease in the actual fund balance, and that had to do with the creation of the capital improvement fund and moving the monies out from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. But in all, revenues did exceed expenditures in FY10 in the general fund, and also in the utilities and the parking fund as well. John, or do other stuff you want to talk about and point out?
Yeah, I don't know how deep into this thing you want to go with the audit report. Actually, the independent audit report is on page 1, right after the table of contents. And I think the most important thing I'd like to talk about that report is this year we have removed the qualifications we had last year of not complying with GASB 45, which reports the liability for benefits other than pensions for employees. We are now reporting that. So the result of that is that we have an unqualified audit, meaning that everything in the report is fairly presented. The auditor is satisfied that the numbers are appropriate for the operations of the centers. Whether, you know, they're not expressing opinion whether it's good or bad, they're just saying it's good. The second part of the audit report is the management discussion and analysis, and that's basically a review of just a summary of all the numbers. And the third part, which is the basic financial statement. The next section is the notes to the financial statement that give further detail to the numbers. And then finally, the schedules of all the other funds that we manage. So I'll be glad to answer any particular questions we have. As Marcel did increase our undesignated fund balance again this year. It's now sitting at about 10.8% of our operating expenditures, which is a good level of, I think anywhere from 5 to 15% is a good number. And we're right in the middle there. I don't think it's excessive.
When do we anticipate getting the finding of facts on the audit?
Single audit,
Oh, the
A133.
internal control, that should be,
It's usually within the month. They have to, it's usually within the month after
it's
this.
usually 30 days after.
You have to have it by March 1st. Isn't it March 1st when it has to be filed? So within the next several weeks.
One of the things on page 5, I'll read you the last line here, which does speak to the town's financial responsibility, increased financial responsibility in terms of watching its spending. The increase in the undesignated fund equity tells us that the town has continued to monitor spending and revenues and remains on a strong financial course. So I think that, the board, in terms of the financial reports that we're receiving from the administration, the oversight provided by the board, we certainly, as you read this, you see that the parking system budget is very fragile. Certainly, all this weather does not help that budget in terms of snow removal, which will have an impact on it. But being here for 5 years, you know that any one major incident can, it's like a house of cards. But the last 4 years, we have really turned it around here, and that's a compliment to you, John, and Barb, and the town staff. So I thank you for that. Any other comments?
That was underlined in my, that was underlined in my report. I was going to mention it.
Yeah.
But you've done it.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hospice
Hospice contract.
contract. Susan Harris is here with hospice,
You can sit over at
from hospice. If you
Sure.
could sit, sure. It has been 5 years since this original contract was signed between the town and Brattleboro Area Hospice for the area and the transportation center where Experience Goods is located. And hospice and the people in Experience Good have been patient as we've worked through some heat issues and environmental control issues, getting
What
used
was
to the
that,
new
heat
building.
issues?
We moved it over here. We moved all the heat to their building, yeah. And lo and behold, we're now up requesting a renewal of the contract. Essentially, the terms remain the same, I know, Susan, if you have anything you want to add with regard to our 5-year experience in the future 5 years?
Well, as you know, we have 2 thrift stores now, one on Elliott Street and the larger one on Flat Street. It's really hard to believe it's been 5 years. We were the first tenant to go in, and there were some problems with some leaks and the heating cooling system, and I just want to really thank the staff and Barb for working on those issues, because now we feel people are really responsive, and we're really, happy with the town as our landlord there. And also, I just want to point out the staff you have cleaning the area, the stairwells, the elevator, and the building, and everything else is really important to us, and that's been upkept really well, so we're really pleased with that. The Flat Street store is 64% of our budget, so it's very important to us. And it's a great space, so we're really happy there, and we're happy to renew for another 5 years.
Accept the motion before we get into discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve a 5-year contract between the town of Brattleboro, Brattleboro Area Hospice for the rental space at the Brattleboro Transportation Center.
I have a question for Barb. How does the pro forma for the parking system match up with the rent that we charge for this space? Because that's revenue that goes into the parking system.
Okay, with the original pro forma. It's a little lower, but that has, it's kind of when we were trying to rent that second space, we had a lot of, that was vacant for a while. And so with other competition, I think that, we're a little bit low on from what the pro forma had us at.
Darrell?
Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank your organization, because it was a big boost to the transportation when you guys went in there, because we were having a very hard time. So at least you came in, and we got to finally put something in there and have people moving around. So thank you very much, and I'm glad it's working out for you guys, too.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess, if it's low, how low is it, and should that change at this point?
No, the issue with the pro forma has somewhat to do with the availability of space and the availability of rent of the space. The other issues with the pro forma have to do with a lot of maintenance was not included in that pro forma, and that's why I've actually stopped looking at that pro forma, because it wasn't accurate.
Now, this is by my reading of this is a set rate for 5 years, correct?
3% increase each year.
3%. Paragraph 5.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you. I did miss that. Okay. And everything else is the same. All right. Any other questions? Any questions from anyone out there? All right. All those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I'll get it.
Thank you for coming out.
Sure.
Recycling coordinators, they will be coming at the February 15th meeting because of the snow this evening. Next then we have application for Foundation Fund grant applications, and Carol Allott is here. This is for the West River Park. As I said in the administrative report, typically the foundation or grant applications come one at a time before the board. In this case, because Carol knows she's going to be doing several requests, she's put them up into one gist and is coming before the board in that way. So Carol, if you want to talk a little bit about what your plans are for...
Well, what we're doing is the West River Park Committee has been working very hard over the past several months, just really getting their ducks in a row, per se, so that we can go forward with the development of the West River Park site. One of the big things that we're working on at this point is applying for private grants and foundations that will support this, that could support this project. So there are 9 different organizations, foundations, grants, in and throughout New England and beyond that we're applying for, and there's over 9 in this first quarter that we're applying for a total amount of $291,500. And I'm seeking your permission this evening to go forward and start working on those grants to help secure funds for the development of the West River Park site.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant applications as outlined in Carol Lott's memorandum of January, as of, what's our new one?
February 1st.
February 1st, thank you, 2011.
Thank you, Darrell.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? And what percentage of this money is the total project?
This portion, be a little under, well, the total project's a little over $1 million. So,
A little over 25%.
About 20%.
There you go. All right. Dora?
What are the chances of, I mean, obviously you're asking for specific amounts. In a lot of cases, they may give you less than what you're asking for. So do we have a, second round of lists to try to...
Definitely. This is just for this quarter.
Okay.
This is just, these are deadlines that are coming up, in the first quarter of the year, and then you'll see me back again as other deadlines start to approach. There are numerous grants and foundations out there that we've been, looking into that would be appropriate for this type of project. So this is just round 1.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Good luck, Carol.
Great, thank you very much.
Get 'em.
Thanks.
Take round 1.
Darrell's name's on the next round. That's where we were. Next up is the Hilltop VCDP grant application. This is the planning grant application that's come before the board a couple of times. You just held your hearing on it, I believe, at your last meeting. And VCDP now requires the signature of the legislative body on the resolution for the grant application. So we're just asking the board, it didn't require anybody to come back because you actually already approved the application, but we're just asking that the board approve this resolution and then sign it.
I would move to approve the resolution for the VCDP grant application pertaining to the Hilltop House Planning Grant.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Thank you. And
And then next, we have the annual Vermont Transportation Department Certificate of Highway Mileage. A question was raised earlier this evening about whether or not we should have scenic highways, because you'll note that there's town highways, and then the addition, subtractions, totals, and then scenic highways because of the Molly Stark. Steve Barrett is going to check into that a little further. I'm going to guess that we probably don't have that just because I don't know who actually did the designation of the scenic highway.
Well, the instructions indicate, Barb, that if we only use it if the town has designated highways as official scenic highways in accordance with the statute. And I know it's a Molly Stark Trail, but that's done by, I think, the
That's the
state, as
state, yeah.
opposed to
Should
us.
be,
But
be federal.
Yeah.
But he was going to check into it. My
Yeah.
concern was, I raised it with Steve earlier, was just in case it meant anything for funding for
Right.
state monies, federal monies for maintenance and et cetera
right.
on that
Right.
portion of the highway.
Right. So I think we'll...
But he was going to check into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into that, and if it's worth more money, we'll make whatever changes we can to get more
Absolutely.
money. And-
Good.
Is it the wish of the board to approve this?
Yes.
And then come back
We need to have any changes.
if we need to adjust it?
Right.
Approve the 2011 State of Vermont certification of highway mileage.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Thank you. And we have warrants here.
Then you have warrants, you have a report from the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District, and as well as the Brattleboro Housing Authority, I'm sorry.
Meetings?
Meetings. Thursday, February 2nd, there's a skateboard park committee meeting at 6 p.m. in the senior center. Saturday, February 5th, beginning at 8:30 a.m. at Academy School is round 2 for the special representative town meeting. Monday, February 7th is the Planning Commission, 6 p.m. in the Select Board meeting room. Tuesday, February 8th is the Tree Advisory Committee in the Hannah Cosman at 7 p.m. Also Tuesday night, February 8th, is the Brattleboro Union High School budget meeting, and that is at the high school gym. Monday, February 14th is the Planning Commission at 6 p.m. in the Select Board meeting room, and the Rec and Parks Board is at 6 p.m. at the Gibson-Aiken Center. On Tuesday, February 15th, we have the Solid Waste Committee at 2 p.m. in the Hannah Cosman. Also on the 15th, we have the Town Arts Committee at 4 p.m. in the Hannah Cosman. And then stay right here, because it's the Brattleboro Select Board, 6:15 p.m. on February 15th. That is a Tuesday. And then we just set a special meeting
On the 8th.
on the 8th
At
at 4 p.m.
o'clock. Yep. Yeah, Barb talked about the BUHS meeting on February 8th. Last year, there were 89 people from Brattleboro there.
I was there.
I was there,
So
too.
is Dick.
So was Jesse, so.
So why did you schedule a meeting for the
I'll probably miss
It's at
that.
6 o'clock. It's, actually, their meeting is what, 6:30 or 7 o'clock?
I haven't been to one of them since the fiasco.
So I will accept the motion to adjourn?
No.
Executive
Nope,
session.
you would
Oh, we
ask
haven't- we haven't-
motion
What?
to go into executive
Executive
session
session.
on
right.
on 4 contractual matters because premature knowledge would put the town at a significant disadvantage.
So moved, and I invite the town manager, anybody else coming?
The town attorney,
Oh, darn it.
And the town attorney.
All those in favor of the
by
motion?
phone.
Oh, by phone.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I was going to say, where
I
is
would
he?
anticipate that we will come back out to adjourn, but there would not be any motions made.
Can we go to a room that has heat?
Yeah, Barb's got you.
I got heat.
Heat.
And I've got a toll on.
It's cold. It's